Here.
Mr. Brown.
Here.
Mr. Bryant.
Here.
Mr. Chauncey. Ms. Kroll. Mr. DeFrancesco.
Here.
Mr. Johnson. Ms. Tyson Wright. Mr. Gillespie.
Here.
Mr. Rise for the
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Okay, we need a motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
That we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Are there any student representatives that would like to address the board tonight? Come on down.
Hello, my name is Logan Corner, and I'm here to update you on what is happening at And I'm here on what is happening at Sagertown High School. On March 30th, PENNCREST staff members Brendan McRae, Jay Giacomo, Zorian Edwards, Athena Sweeney, Natalie Sleep, Elena Merchant, and Kaylee Reynolds competed at the state level for the Pennsylvania School Press Association at Penn State University Park. Congratulations to junior Zorian Edwards, who has been selected by Northwestern REC to attend the all expenses paid Rural Electric Youth Tour, June 18th through the 23rd. Edwards will travel to Washington, D.C. to explore monuments and museums, meet with members of Congress, and participate in leadership activities with students from across the country. The Sagertown robotics team competed in the Robobots robot fighting competition at Meadville Area Senior High School. The bots Killer Bunny, Bunger, and Oops, I Did It Again all participated, and Killer Bunny will compete in Pittsburgh on May 19th through 20th. Post 205 Junior Legion baseball tryouts will be held this Sunday from 4 to 6 p.m. All students ages 12 through 16 are welcome. Spring sports are in full swing. Last night, the boys baseball team beat Concord in 8-7 in 7 innings. They'll be back in action at Maplewood on Friday, April 14th at 4:30 p.m. The volleyball team beat Cash in 3 games on Tuesday. They are currently playing Farrell across the hallway tonight. Good luck, Panthers. And the softball team is playing Iroquois at Bertram Field tonight. We are proud of our spring athletes and would also like to congratulate the winter athletes who were recognized at the start of tonight's meeting. Issue 7 of the Panther Press will be released on April 21st online and at the school. We look forward to updating you next month. In the meantime, follow us at thepantherpress.com. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Audrey Bullock, and I'm here to update you on what is happening in Cambridge Springs. Beginning with news from the elementary school. In collaboration with the Cambridge Kiwanis Club, each Thursday in March, students have been celebrating reading with a variety of theme days based on Dr. Seuss book titles. Classrooms set reading goals and celebrated reaching those goals with a Sunday celebration hosted by Kiwanis before Easter break. Our 4th grade students hosted Daffodil Days in March. Under the guidance of Mrs. Ferris, the 4th grade team led students through a service learning project selling American Cancer Society daffodils, as well as student handmade daffodils. All money raised was donated to the American Cancer Society. Students were able to gain a variety of experiences as they planned, created advertisements, made morning announcements, and monitored ordering and made deliveries. March Student of the Month breakfast was magically delicious, featuring green pancakes on St. Patrick's Day. The PBIS program recently wrapped up March Madness, which was a hit with the elementary students. This morning, they kicked off a new Fish Frenzy activity to recognize students demonstrating bravery, leadership, understanding, and excellence in meeting school-wide expectations. K-3 students and their families were full steam ahead in March. Our primary teachers hosted a well-attended STEAM night, during which students could participate side by side with their parents, engaged in a variety of minds-on and hands-on learning activities. Velocity and incline were explored as families made predictions and then raced trains on various ramps. Estimation activities were a hit, as well as the Build Your Own train station. A variety of building challenges were included, and a full-size train ride board game that required math solutions to move ahead was enjoyed by all. We had a great month for state qualifiers at CSHS. On March 23rd, students and staff lined the halls to wish good luck to 7th grade student Andrew Dutchcott as he traveled to the PA YMCA State Swimming Championships. He competed in the 100 fly and 200 fly events, earning 22nd in the 100 fly and 16th in the 200 fly. Congratulations to Andrew. On March 24th, we sent off 7th grader wrestlers Colton Hoover, Wyatt Keem, and Bill Stanley to the state competition. Walking with them in the halls were older wrestlers who competed in the state's bracket weeks before. On March 29th, we set off junior Audrey Bullock to compete in the PA State Journalism Competition at Penn State University. She competed in the editorial writing category. Congratulations to Audrey, and congratulations to the student journalists from Sagertown that also competed. The CSHS robotics team participated in the RoboBots competition in Meadville on March 25th. Team Loki took 3rd place in Best Documentation, and Team Neil took Coolest Bot, Best Sportsmanship, and Rumble winner. History was made at Allegheny College on March 25th at the National History Day Regional Competition. Seniors Ava Greenwald and Isabel Yasinchek took 1st in group exhibits. Senior Peyton Ayers took 1st in individual exhibits, and freshman Katie Hillias took 2nd in individual exhibits. All 4 will be heading to states later this month. Congratulations to both the robotics team and History Day members. On April 3rd, the CSHS chorus class presented the Rock of Ages dessert concert. The performance featured a town with a history of rock and roll with the threat of being torn down. Aspiring singers fell in love, and drama ensued when a legendary rock star threatened to tear them apart. The musical featured several classic 80s hits, which the audience enjoyed and sang along to. Thank you to everyone who participated for bringing the love of theater back to CSHS, and to Mrs. Belts for making it possible. Our spring sports are in full swing. On Tuesday, our boys volleyball team defeated Cathedral Prep 3-0. Our baseball team beat Iroquois 6-4 last night, and our softball team also beat Iroquois 18-1 in just 4 innings on Tuesday. Our junior high boys volleyball team will participate in a tournament tomorrow in Maplewood. Our junior high girls volleyball team wrapped up their season in their last game on March 29th. Lastly, I'd like to remind you about our publications. The 8th issue of the Pitchfork was published last Wednesday, which was our spring edition. Cambridge Speaks continues to post daily, updating on sports, academics, and fun things happening around our school. Our podcast published an episode weekly. Recent topics have been spring sports features such as track, trap shooting, and junior high volleyball. There is also an episode for Women's History Month that features a past CSHS graduate nurse helping those in need in Ukraine. We encourage you to follow us and keep up to date with our various publications. Thank you, and I look forward to updating you next month.
Thank you. We're going to move on to, PAE. You want to speak tonight? PAE, you want to speak tonight?
Good evening. I am Debbie Miller, president of PAEA. As you know, I come to you monthly asking for your support and collaboration with the professional staff. I want to thank you for the steps that have been taken to work toward that goal. Tuesday night, the policy meeting was held here, and it was encouraging to see that members of the board asked the teachers in attendance for their thoughts and observations relating to the personal electronic device policy that was being reviewed. It seems that the dialogue helped with the process and informed the board. Thank you for working with us. Then we moved to the work session and the budget proposal presentation. We appreciated the explanatory portion from Ms. Eckert, helping all in the room to understand the complexities of our revenue sources. It is here at this point that I would like to ask the board again to consider more collaboration. When the board members had questions or viewpoints on various aspects of projected spending, why not ask those who know? Again, I believe that the professional staff and the administration have a wealth of insight and ideas to add. For instance, if there are questions about transportation or special education, why not ask Mr. Dixon, Mrs. Feely, or even a special education teacher? The theme of some of the questions seem to be simply financial rather than holistic, as in, what is the bigger picture of the impact on students or their reality? For instance, when I see an increase in special education numbers, as a 32-year teacher, I see that as a sign that students in need are being identified and supported. As a public school, we pride ourselves in helping all students find success. So why not have the experts explain? As I always remind you, we are still here. Even tonight, as you entertain new business items or policy considerations or any decision that will directly impact student success, consider being thoughtful, maybe even tabling an item for a short time in order to enter into dialogue with the stakeholders before making a big decision. We are still here, wanting to talk, wanting to find fair solutions that make PENNCREST the place that it's meant to be. Thank you.
We have a number of winter sports to recognize. It seems like our winter sports are always really exceeding anybody's expectations, so this year is no different. A lot of our student athletes are out at fall sport or spring sports right now, not able to make it, but there are a number here. So let's start with girls wrestling. Coach Bartholomew, you want to come up?
Thank you for recognizing Sagertown girls wrestling and their accomplishments at regionals and states this year. On June of 22, we became the 54th girls wrestling team with Sanction PA. This is due to the PENNCREST School Board and Dr. Glasspool supporting the girls wrestling program and acknowledging it as a sport. We are also appreciative of all the support we've received from the community and the boys wrestling program. These ladies deserve the credit for all their hard work, dedication, sacrifices, and efforts, as wrestling is not an easy sport, while maintaining academic excellence as well. Most of the girls on the team have had 2 years or less of wrestling experience and have competed with the eastern side of the state who have been wrestling for many years. The goal is to continue to grow the girls wrestling program and to get them started at a younger age, so that we can strengthen the program and the numbers as they are coming up through high school. As a former Panther and a member of the Sagertown Family Wrestling, I feel honored and blessed to be their coach and to be a part of the first girls wrestling team. I could not have done this and the girls couldn't have accomplished what they did if I didn't have the coaches behind me as well. One being my son, Dawson Bartholomew, Jarrett Rule, Ernie Groger, and Sean Spencer. Their talent, dedication, pride, motivation, and thoughtfulness in each and every practice and tournament showed in the results for the girls on the mat this year. As a team, the Sagertown Girls Wrestling is made up of Sagertown, Maplewood, Cambridge school districts, and we also co-op with Meadville High School. At regionals, the girls placed second as a team with 10 girls there, which is huge because we are competing against girls from Pittsburgh and the inner city schools down there. And then they moved on to states and they placed 7th out of 101 teams, which is, yes. During regionals and states from Sagertown, first off is Emma Spencer. She placed second at 106 pounds. And she made it to states as a freshman. Emma was also the first wrestler at PENNCREST that I know of that lettered in both boys and girls wrestling this season. We also had Jaslyn Green, who placed 7th at 112 pounds. Kylie Stafford placed 2nd at regionals and made it to states at 124 pounds. Laura Dillinger placed 3rd at regionals and also made it to states. Casey Mook placed 2nd at regionals and made it to states. And then while at states, Emma, Kylie, and Laura made it to the blood round, which means we're in the top 10 of the whole Pennsylvania as far as girls wrestling goes. And Casey Mook placed 2nd for her weight class. And those are the girls from Sagertown. Cambridge, we have Royale Reno Goss. She placed 8th at 142 pounds at regionals. Chelsea Wilson placed 6th at 190 pounds. And then Maplewood, I have Madison Bannock, who placed 7th at 142. And then from Meadville, we have Sam Hall, who placed 7th at 155 pounds, and Leah Sample placed 2nd at regionals, and then 3rd at states at 118 pounds. So again, I just want to say thank you, and I can't wait for next year to see what is in store for us as a team. And go girls.
Congratulations. Continue with wrestling, Coach Andrews, Maplewood High School.
Good evening. I'm second-year Coach Andrews, and I want to thank you for recognizing the boys that made it this far into regionals. It wasn't quite the outcome that we wanted, but we were striving. We're small, and if you look at our record on tournaments, we do very well at the tournaments. Very proud of the boys. They put in a lot of hard effort to the wrestling, and I want to congratulate all the girls that made it this far too, because some of the girls was Maplewood girls, and we are adding to that also next year. But I definitely want to say a little bit about Chase. He's been one of our big leaders in the room. He's done this is a second regional qualifier. And we are expecting big things out of him next year as a leader, and also hopefully we can get a state qualifier and a placer in the state. The boys are working really hard. We as coaches are working just as hard. We secured a off-site wrestling room for the summer so that the boys can put in some extra work to achieve what they are getting, Again, I want to thank you guys, and I want to congratulate Chase again for his accomplishments for this year, and we're looking forward to better next year. So, thank you.
Congratulations, Chase. Coach Martin's on here, but we have a fill-in Coach Brooks. Just to check, Coach Lester from Cambridge is not here, correct?
Before I get started, can we just give Coach Andrews a get well? He's just recovering from some medical procedures, and he's been a great asset out of Maplewood. So thanks for being here, Coach. I've coached so many of these kids, the girls and the boys, all the way up through elementary school. We've got the best quarterback ever coached on the girls' team, sit right there. I'll be quick. Carter Beck made it to state, Sagertown's only state qualifier. He's not here. Travis, yeah, I saw him come in. Why didn't you come down, Travis? I'm sorry, I should be more supportive. Travis is a great wrestler, and he listens to instruction well. There you go, Travis. Greg Kaiser, I don't see Greg. He might be hiding up there. Gabe Jordan, I'm playing baseball. One of the most surprising kids, Porter Brooks. He overcame his genetics and made it to regions. Good job. And Logan Corner. Yeah. No, 5'0", great wrestler. Happy to see him make it here. Sagertown had one kid graduate this year. Looking forward to, we had one senior. The rest are underclassmen, hoping for good things next year. Coach Mulligan will talk a lot longer than this, so I'm going to uncharacteristically cut it short. All right, great job, guys.
Thanks, congratulations, guys. So we did have some Cambridge Springs wrestlers qualify as well. Also, Maplewood High School girls basketball is unable to make it. Coach Rose and the girls did a great job. Moving with Cambridge Springs High School boys basketball, Coach Leandro.
As the boys are walking up and the coaches are walking up, I just want you to know this is not my entire team. We had 19 players on our team. Many of them are in baseball, volleyball, and track. These are just my 3 most handsome that are here tonight. So first of all, I want to thank the board members and Dr. Glasspool for recognizing the hard work and the accomplishments of these boys, as well as the other sports teams. Congratulations on your successful seasons as well. I'm going to keep mine short. I don't have any magic courtside wizardry. It's these boys that do all the work, so I'm going to have them actually speak, but I'd like to introduce them. This is Ben Lieb, one of our seniors, and over the course of the last 4 years, Ben has amassed a region record of 38-4. We had 3 region undefeated championships in that time, and all 4 of those seasons, we made the state playoffs, and finishing second in the region in his sophomore year. Okay, next I have junior. Looking forward to both of these big boys back inside this year. This is junior Ryan Thayer and freshman Quinn Zimmerman. And then the masterminds behind all of this are Coach Livermore, Coach Ferris, and Coach Pavone. But again, I'm going to turn it over to Ben Mahib, one of our seniors that guided our team and was instrumental in our successes. So I'm going to call him down to speak.
Well, hello, my name is Ben Lieb, and it is my honor to represent the Cambridge Springs boys basketball team tonight. If I were asked what made us so successful this season, I'd have to say it was because we worked as a family. We worked hard together, we pushed each other, and we lifted each other back up. But most importantly, we had fun together. We had a Secret Santa gift exchange, and we even shaved Parker Schmidt's mustache after we won regions. And that fun we had together really helped build some chemistry between all of us, and that's what led us to the state playoffs and made us the team we were this year.
Congratulations to everybody. We appreciate how you represent PENNCREST out in the community, both on and off the court, or mat, for that matter. So thank you again, and congratulations. Our last student presentation is our Cambridge Springs High School Northwest PA Class Act Emerging Leader, Isabel Yaskachak.
So it is my honor to introduce everybody Isabel Yasinchak. She was nominated by Mrs. Bethany Kissel and Mrs. Angela Mumford, but when I shared the news with everybody in the building, including Mrs. Stevens, her elementary principal, they were 100% behind it, and it would have predicted it because they said that every experience they've had around her has been very positive. Instead of reading everything they said, I just thought I would hit a few bullet points. She is a role model, dependable, motivated, quick-witted, true to her values, mature beyond her years, a quiet leader among her peers. And they also said she will be successful in any endeavor she encounters. And I believe you're going to Worcester, is that correct?
Possibly, it's in the top 2.
Okay, which is another reason Mrs. Stevens is so excited for her. But I'd like to give you the nomination for the Class Act Emerging Leader. Congratulations.
Congratulations, Bill. We appreciate you being here this evening. You just want to tell us anything, like where you're going to school, what you plan on doing?
I'm making the final decision between my top 2 colleges right now, but I plan to study psychology. So, yeah.
All right, we look for big things. Thanks so much. Congratulations.
Thank you.
We'll take a brief moment. If the student athletes need to leave to go study, you are more than welcome to stay and join in the democratic process of the school board meetings, but you know you may have other commitments. We don't have any registered citizens' comments to speak on agenda items.
Coach Leandro, I want to grab a picture of them.
If there are any citizens who would like to speak on agenda items, you may come forward. You have 2 minutes. I'll give you a minute while these kids take pictures and move on out as well. Okay, citizens' comments on agenda items.
Hello. Catherine Edwards, PENNCREST. I did not intend to speak today, but I feel this needs addressed. We got a little money from the Jewel lawsuit, and now we're about to jump on another lawsuit. So this is who we are now? Tell me we're not hoping to make up a $4 million shortfall by ambulance chasing. Tell me you have a better budgeting strategy than pretending that we won't be raising taxes and raging against the State Board of Education. This can't be all we are, okay? We need to stand up for all students. You can't say we've got all of this money coming in for mental health and then say, what are we doing with all of these IEPs? You can't do that. You need to be respectful, all right? And if there is anything that we have proven through these last 2 years, what is necessary in education is teaching people to be respectful of every student, regardless of their background. And I think hitching our wagon to this lawsuit is a step backwards. Thank you.
Thanks. Any additional comments?
Laura Bullock, Cambridge Springs Elementary School. So the CRSE thing that is coming up for the vote, I'm seeing CRT signs coming up like dandelions everywhere that I look, and I'm just curious, is CRT related to the CRSE? And if it is, can you explain it to us before the vote is happening? You know what I mean? How CRT relates to the CRSE? I'm just curious about understanding it a little more, because I thought CRT was already done with a month ago or a year ago. I think it was March to 2022. The policy 119 was passed. So I'm just curious how CRT and CRSE is related. So if that can be explained by somebody, if Dr. Newman's here, he's part of the curriculum, if he could explain that, that would be, or you or somebody. I would like to be educated on it.
Thank you.
Hi, Randy Styborski, Venango Township. At Tuesday's workshop, a member of this board recommended, in an effort to cut costs, that schools need to stop identifying students with special needs and stop identifying students with IEPs. Their services have just become too costly. Again, this is an idea from a member of this board. This should shed light on just how out of touch and misinformed this board is, how little they know about public education. I wish they had any common sense about education law. To follow through with this recommendation would be vastly illegal. Anyone with a simple understanding of basic education law would know this. FAPE, free and appropriate public education under 504. NCLB, No Child Left Behind, and IDEA, Individuals with Disability Education Act. These federal mandates require you to provide a free and appropriate education for all. You are required to provide a service of learning for all, whatever it takes. Again, this fact that I have to point out to this board is a travesty. Specifically under IDEA Section 300 under child fine, Pennsylvania districts must have policies and procedures to ensure that children with disabilities in need of special education services are identified, located, and evaluated. In an effort to save money, you shouldn't be so ignorant to education law. You're risking our district with even more expensive legal fees. For a board that opposes taxes and expenses, your words and policies and actions are certainly proving otherwise. Your imprudent comments cost us time, energy, and resources. As a fiscally concerned taxpayer, I urge you and I beg you, please become more informed with the law. We need more education in this district and less litigation. Thank you.
Any opportunity for comments on agenda items? Agenda items. Okay, we're going to continue with the agenda. Under the education report, we have some student travel. Recommend approval of the student travel as listed.
So moved. Second. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion or additional discussion? If not, all in favor say aye. Aye.
Item B, recommend approval of the student, of the athletic travel as listed.
So moved. Second. We have motion and a second. Any additional discussion? If not, all in favor say aye. Aye. Objections? Motion approved.
Item C, recommend approval of the PA Office of Child Development and Early Education donation of the Mel Fell book by Corey Taylor.
Second. We have motion and a second. Any additional discussion? If not, all in favor say aye. Aye. Objections? Motion approved.
Item D, recommend approval of the cooperative agreement between Crawford County Mental Health Awareness Program and the PENNCREST School District as attached.
So moved. Second. We have motion and a second. Any additional discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Objections? Motion approved.
Item E, recommend approval of the attached 2324 AEDY agreement with Bethesda Lutheran.
So moved. Second. We have motion and a second. Any additional discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Objections? No objections. Motion approved.
Item F, recommend approval of the attached 2324 PENNCREST Cyber Academy Program of Study.
So moved. Second. We have a motion and a second. Additional discussion? If not, all in favor say aye. Aye. Objections? Motion approved.
Item G, recommend approval of the attached 2324 school calendar.
So moved. Second. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Objections? Motion approved.
Item H, recommend approval of the attached IU5 language instruction supervisory services.
So moved. Second. We have a motion and a second. An additional discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Objections? Motion approved.
Item I, resolve that the PENNCREST Board of School Directors expel student A for continued violations of school district policies.
So moved. Second. We have a motion and a second. Additional discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Objections? Motion approved.
Facilities and Transportation Report, item A, I recommend approval of the listed contract student transportation drivers.
Second. I have a motion and a second. Additional discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Objection? Motion approved.
Item B, recommend approval of the attached parent-provided transportation agreement for student A, different student A.
Second. A motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Item C, recommend approval of the attached bid
Motion approved.
to tar and chip Maplewood Elementary School.
Second. We have a motion and a second. Additional discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Objections? Motion approved.
Financial report, recommend approval of the attached treasurer's reports.
So moved. Second. We have a motion and a second. Discussions, questions? If not, all in favor say aye. Aye. Objections? Motion approved.
Disbursements, recommend approval of the payment of the attached disbursements.
So moved. Second. We have a motion and a second. Additional discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Motion approved.
C, resolve the PENNCREST Board of School Directors approve the attached 23-24 Crawford County Career and Technology Center budget in the amount of $5,970,119 for the operating year and $717,500 for the debt service budget. PENNCREST's estimated share of this is $2,078,087 and $220,287.
Second. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? None. All in favor say aye. Aye. Objections? Motion approved.
I'd like to do the personnel report as a consent agenda. So recommend approval of items A through E, resignation, coaches, support staff, board approved volunteers, and unpaid days.
So moved. Second. We have a motion and a second. Discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. No objections? Motion approved.
Under new business, item A is first reading. Policy committee met Tuesday, and we discussed policy 905 as well as 237. We are asking that the board eliminate policy 905. So that is for first reading. Policy approval is item B. Approve the following policies: policy 137, 137.1, .2, and policy 815.4.
I didn't hear a second. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any objections? Motion approved.
Item C, resolve the PENNCREST Board of School Directors join the litigation to challenge the Pennsylvania Department of Education culturally relevant and sustaining education program framework guidelines and authorize the Franz Law Group, APLC, to proceed to file suit at no out-of-pocket expense to the school district.
Dr. Glasgow,
Yep, I was gonna,
that should be, if this is the CRSE case, that should be Dylan McCandless, will be filing that lawsuit, not Franz.
okay, we'll make that change. Would you give us a high-level synopsis of the CRSE framework? And, go ahead.
I'd be happy to. Shortly after the election last year in 2022, the Department of Education, unknown to most of the school districts in Pennsylvania, and probably unknown even today to most of the school districts in Pennsylvania, adopted something called guidance. And the guidance regarding this culturally relevant policy is a series of things contained in a document that looks a lot like some of the things that came out during the pandemic in the mask case, for example. And so this guidance that came out of the Department of Education was never the subject of any review by the Regulatory Review Commission. It was created by a small panel of people, most of whom were university professors. Only one person on that committee was actually affiliated with any school district. There were no superintendents. There were no board members as part of that. And so what came out is something that is very difficult to understand. It's very difficult to understand how it would ever be enforced. And it's very difficult to understand what the purpose of it is, other than as a precursor to people putting in policies that they suggest comply with these guidelines. The guidelines are, in my opinion, very poorly written, difficult to understand, and in many respects inappropriate. Not only were they not reviewed by the Regulatory Commission, they violate the rights of teachers, they violate the rights of superintendents, they violate the rights of school boards to establish curriculum. They will be used in a number of different ways, as people may imagine. Some of them call, for example, for teachers to, and I'm quoting, to disrupt, end of quote, their districts where they work if they disagree with the policies that the boards have undertaken. So there are a number of constitutional challenges that we're going to raise with respect to this. The complaint is brought on behalf of the Laurel School District, which is in Lawrence County, the Mars School District, which is in Butler County, and if PENNCREST joins us on behalf of the PENNCREST District, along with a school superintendent, Mr. Rich, who's the superintendent of schools at Laurel, two teachers who suggest that these policies, these guidance violates their constitutional right to free speech, the First Amendment, and a number of parents and children who suggest that the outcomes that are in this guidance will violate their political, religious, or social mores. And so, much like our firm did in the case involving masks in schools, which we won unanimously in the state Supreme Court, we intend to make many of the same challenges, including the fact that these kinds of regulations have to be scrutinized by the Regulatory Review Commission in Pennsylvania, which includes the Speaker of the House of Representatives, the President Pro Tem of the Senate, and other people appointed by the Governor and the House of Representatives and the Senate, prior to ever becoming a regulation. As a matter of fact, the regulations that they cite to require that anything that's promulgated under these regulations would go through that process. So the lawsuit that we're about to bring on behalf of all of those folks, and hopefully on behalf of PENNCREST as well, will be at no expense to the school district whatsoever. The costs of the lawsuit are being paid by the Thomas More Society, which is a conservative legal society headquartered in Chicago, Illinois, which was behind the mask case that we filed and other cases that I've been involved in as one of the lawyers for that society from time to time on important public issues. So I would ask that the board consider joining this lawsuit. There will be no expense to the district, and I do think that what we've promulgated, I've sent Dr. Glasspool a copy of this, and Mr. DiFrancesco a copy just this evening to see it. What I'm doing now is summarizing it, but I think I've given an accurate summary of it. We intend to file it soon in the Commonwealth Court of Pennsylvania, and we intend to ask that court to stop these regulations from being implemented. Right now, every school district in Pennsylvania is required to implement these regulations, including PENNCREST. And PENNCREST is in the first wave of districts that will have to implement this stuff. This is stuff that will have to be taught to the teachers, and the district will have to comply with. It requires teachers to believe certain things that teachers may not believe, and it will cause great confusion, and it will include lots of problems for districts and teachers, and in dealing with parents who may or may not agree with the things that are about to be put into place. I think it usurps the powers of school boards. It also usurps the powers of the State Board of Education, which has exclusive control over curriculum in Pennsylvania, along with local school boards, not the State Department of Education. So the suit is against the State Department of Education, asking the court to stop this from being implemented and requiring it, if they're going to do it, to send it to the Regulatory Review Commission, where parents, school districts, administrators, teachers, and just general citizens would have the right to have input on it, which they've never had. So that's kind of a high-level summary of it. I think it's pretty accurate. And, I know that Dr. Glass, I know you're familiar with it, and right now school districts are struggling with this because they have to put it in their plans, which will be effective, for example, at PENNCREST on July 1 of this coming year. So we need to get this thing filed, and we need to take these issues on head on, and we're prepared to do that.
Thank you. Any questions from the board?
Yeah. After the motion, we didn't get a second. I think we can modify it without amending the,
I agree.
Okay, we have
Was
the
there-
first by Mr. Jones. We need a second.
second. Okay, we just have to change the.
Yeah,
we'll change
I'll
it.
change it.
Okay, we submit this modified.
Yeah. We need to do the whole thing.
Yeah, just read.
You could just have the maker and the seconder just to consent to that amendment.
Consent?
Take it to be filed by Dylan and King.
Okay, so we'll modify that with Bill McCann instead of Franz Logman. Thanks, Tom. Tom, okay.
Go ahead with we had a motion. And we had a second. We have a motion and a second in the discussion. All in favor say aye. Aye. Motion approved.
Item D, we're going to add to our very successful winter sports program by including the PENNCREST, hopefully you approve to launch a unified champion schools bocce team at Maplewood High School.
Second. We have motion and a second. Discussion, questions? I have a question. How did this program come about?
So this is a program where we would compete with other schools in Northwest Pennsylvania, and it would be our students who are have multiple disabilities, special education students, and they will compete with regular education students against other teams that are uniquely abled in the county, in Northwest PA. It's at no cost to us. It's a winter sport. It's indoor bocce. So we're really excited to get this off the ground, and hopefully recognize them next year this time.
Any additional questions? All right, if not, all in favor say aye. Aye. Motion approved.
Announcements, we had an executive session on April 11 and 13 for personnel negotiations and a confidential student issue. We do have a registered citizen comment on non-agenda items. Brian Custer. Yes.
Okay, I've never really needed a microphone that often, so if you're okay with it, I'll just speak. Good evening, my name's Brian E. Custard. My wife and I have lived in Eastmead Township for nearly 18 years. I'd like to address policy or perhaps steps that I believe can vastly improve education here. I also believe people know that I'm running for school board. Despite an unsuccessful court challenge, I'm still here, and I plan to stay here. Wherever left-wing, liberal, progressive, or socialist ideas show up, we'll be here to say no. I say we because I'm running with a group of 7 people, and it's still 7. We plan to protect innocence, drive for basics like reading, writing, and arithmetic, and to protect taxpayers by cutting spending. Some of my friends are sitting at the board's table tonight. Many call us the PENNCREST 7. But let's get to the things that can move us forward. For the PENNCREST 7, we like to say we believe. But what do we believe? First, we believe in parents. Parental involvement is crucial in every aspect of education. Behind every child who believes in him or herself is a parent who believed first. Let's return schools to our parents. Parents have the right to know absolutely everything that happens with their children. Curriculum and all materials must be available to parents without exception, nothing hidden. A parent's Bill of Rights must be followed. We believe in students. Our goal has to be ongoing advancement of educational opportunities for all students. By staying positive and working hard, success will be knocking at our students' doors. Students are the future. They need the best education we can offer. Students must be provided with safe learning space for everyone. We have to listen to our students, find out what's working for them and what's not. Our students deserve an education, not indoctrination. Political and social experiments should be left at the door. We believe in education. It's the passport to the future. Tomorrow belongs to those who prepare for it today. And being in the 30th percentile of academic performance is unacceptable. Someone must be held accountable for these low numbers. If our taxpayers provided just 30% to their employer, would they still have a job and pay taxes? We need an immediate published improvement action plan from the administration. Together we can identify root causes and failure modes, then take corrective action. To compete, PENNCREST needs to improve career path planning and training. And wouldn't it be nice if our kids could tell time on a clock that has hands on it? If the students today are to become tomorrow's researchers, we should prepare them for the task. Historical documents are written in cursive. Our young men and women need to know how to read and to write in cursive. We believe in our teachers. Teachers are the rock of our educational foundation. Their love for students, hard work, and professionalism should not be held hostage by union aspirations. Teachers should be able to stand outside of politics. PENNCREST educators should not be forced to teach mandated curriculum that goes against their moral code or their faith. No CRT, no woke ideologies, nothing divisive, no racial divides, nothing promoting gender identity or sexual preference. Again, we're here for education, not separation. Teachers shouldn't have to pay out of their pocket for supplies they need to teach their class. Our educators should be lifted up for the positive role models that the majority of them are. Our teachers can also identify where the system is broken, offering suggestions for improvement. And to help control costs in the district, our teachers or even the administration should consider paying a percentage of their health care costs. We believe in our community. When we all work together to support learning, children tend to do better in school, stay in school longer, and like school more. We can develop small community service projects to spruce up the area and make repairs less expensive than the lowest bidder. Through added town hall meetings where we can share ideas in a less formal setting. Finally, we believe in the numbers. Raising the taxes will not help. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thanks. Any citizen like to speak on non-agenda items? You have 2 minutes.
Hello. Hi. I'm Loren Razorian Edwards. I'm a current junior at Segertown High School. I do not speak on behalf of the press. I know I'm wearing the shirt, and I'm sorry for that. I'm just going to say that as a student, I can assure you that I am not my parents' property. I have amazing parents. They are wonderful, and they I love them dearly, but I don't want you guys to think that we are simply our parents, which we are not. I can assure you I do know how to read hands on a clock. I learned that in 3rd grade, as with most of my peers. Yeah, so wanted to clear that up for you in case you were confused. As for low numbers, we just had a lot of teachers. Like right now we have a huge teacher shortage. I'm pretty sure you guys already know that. We just had 2 teachers leave the district, or at least are not in our classrooms anymore. That might be able to explain some of our educational disadvantages. And there you go. Have a nice night.
Anybody else want to get ready to one up? Just name, township, or work. Anybody else?
Hi, good evening. I'm Dan Healy. So I wasn't really prepared to speak to you tonight, but I think there's been some very interesting comments that I'd just like to tag on to a little bit. When I look at the district performance data over time, and I look at the charts and the graphs, and I look at the data for both the grade schools and the high schools over 6 buildings, it's very interesting. I don't really have the answer, but I want to ask the question. So in the year about 2014, so if we look at data over time, our district on average was running on or about the 70 or 80th percentile. But somewhere around 2014, there was a shift in the data pattern. There's a drastic shift down to the point where we are right now, in the 30th to 50th percentile, depending upon what core subject you're talking about. Very poor in mathematics. Even as low as 29% in my hometown's elementary school, which is very disturbing. So, with that in mind, I guess I just wanted to ask you if any of you have figured out or even identified what happened on or about 2014. I suggest that maybe the answer could be found with our teachers, with our curriculum managers. Somehow I kind of think that there was a shift in curriculum, or there was a shift in testing, and but I know that you care about this. This wasn't a problem that was created last month or last year. This has been ongoing since about 2014. Thank you.
Do I have to say my name again? Do I have to say my, okay. So I'm thinking with the data that is being said here, I think around 2014 is when staff was being cut out of the schools. So let's look at maybe the increased class sizes and the cut in staff as far as maybe what, where we are academically. Also, if you could, because I know the PENNCREST 7, I'm glad Mr. Custard brought that up, they're running on no CRT. CRT was, I believe, in 2022, the anti-CRT policy was put into place. So I'm just curious as to why CRT is being compared to CRSE. And that's what's being, said to the public, put out to the public. So please educate the public on where this relation of CRT, the policy has already been made, that chapter is done. Why are we seeing CRT signs up? Why are board members running on this no CRT when there is no CRT, supposedly, in the school district? And also, things need to really change here with the people running for school board. There's a lot of hate going on. I'm seeing pictures being taken of people running for the board that might be considered the opposing side. There's hate being spewed when students are talking. It needs to stop. It needs to stop, and you can stop it here. Thank you.
Thank you. Any comments on non-agenda?
All right,
tonight. First, I just want to congratulate the winter athletes again and their accomplishments, and thank them for coming tonight here and for the coaches' hard work there. And then the second thing I want to touch on here is the CRSE lawsuit that we just joined. I want to thank the lawyers for the time that they put into this, and just glad that PENNCREST is taking a stance against critical race theory and against indoctrination, and we'll continue to do that. The third thing I would like to touch on is our budget. Going into that, the budget is very important to me. We need to make sure that the students, the teachers, and all the taxpayers are benefiting from what we do in the budget. And all three of those are going into consideration with every single decision. And I appreciate people coming to me with ideas. We can't keep raising taxes continually. Tax raises can be essential at times, but we're headed into hard times, I believe, in the next few years. Our government has sent our economy down the drain, and I think we're going to be in for hard times, and we need to be ready for that here in PENNCREST. That's it.
I wanted to thank Kristen for the presentation on the other night. I thought it was very helpful, and I know it was a lot of work for the administration, so I really appreciate it. And I think it was time well spent for all of us. If you saw the brief, you saw that there's been a steady decline in PENNCREST enrollment. And if you were to graph out the growth in administration, transportation costs, beyond that of inflation, and other expenses, you would see an inverse angle going the other direction. If a family had less money and higher costs, they would evaluate their budget. We could do what the federal government does. We can keep borrowing and let our children and grandchildren face the consequences of our greed. We could just keep taxing our way out of this mess, or we could take a close look at our budget and come up with a better way. It should just be common sense that we would want to evaluate our budget and look for resource savings. Yet on Monday night, before we'd had a single budget meeting or really looked at the budget for more than an hour, we had people already advocating yet another tax increase, as though a tax increase for infrastructure was somehow different than that for instruction. There are Pennsylvania high schools that are far larger than PENNCREST's entire student body in all three districts. Yet we have a management structure that looks far different. If you have your smartphone, and I know Kristen will say you can't do this, put in 59 million and divide it by the student population of 2,551, and that's what I say it costs to educate a student in PENNCREST. And I think that's really high. Around over $23,000 per child. If our private schools in our district had a fifth of that money, they'd be pretty happy. So how much waste is there in a $59 billion budget? Most bureaucracies waste somewhere between 5 and 8%, and it's hard to know. But if we could even cut the budget by 3.5%, we would save over $2 million. And if we're going to give our professional staff a raise, we've got to find some resource savings. I was told this week that I should just trust the education professionals, and I have to tell you that I think it's the education professionals in our federal, state governments that have led us into this mess that we're in today. So I think we have a choice. Let's not be lazy. Let's try to figure out our budget.
Well, I was able to go to 3 amazing events this last month, and being almost an empty nester, it just really filled my heart with joy to go to these 3 different events at Nicollet Elementary and the high school. One of them was the Makers Fair, which was just amazing, and it was just so heartwarming to see parents with the children, with the staff, all working together to put on this fair. And everyone was enthusiastic, and it was just fantastic. And then there was also career night at the elementary, where all kinds of businesses were invited in, and these students were able to try out, different things that they had brought for them to, and introduce them to different careers, which was just incredible. And lastly was the Business Week over at Maplewood High School, which was just phenomenal. Their ideas were amazing, and I think a lot of them can really be used and benefit us on a day-to-day basis. But just, like I said, seeing the excitement and enthusiasm of everyone was just so contagious and heartwarming, and I was just so glad to be a part of that.
First, I'd like to thank the student representatives for keeping us informed of what's going on, because we're not around to see everything that's happening, and it's pretty amazing the things that's happened in our schools. So I appreciate the representatives sharing that information with the board. Also, I'd like to congratulate the ladies and gentlemen on our sports team for their outstanding performance, and they're representing our school. That's also pretty amazing. That's all I got for tonight.
First of all, just to reiterate what everyone said, great job to our winter athletes. I know the amount of work that it takes to be successful. I would like to mention that in this last month, I received a handwritten note from my first grade teacher, Miss Hassett, who is still very much alive and kicking. And I would like to thank her for helping me be the person I am. That's what teachers should do. If she had not taught me how to lock my zipper, I'd still be walking around with my zipper open all the time. So I appreciate her passing on that little bundle of knowledge to me. Girls wrestling, I know the wrestlers left. I would like to point this out. In 2019, PENNCREST voted to have a girls wrestling team. This was 1 year before Sanctioned PA became they formed themselves, so we are ahead of the curve on girls wrestling, even though we get credited as the 54th. So, something there. I would like to say to the PENNCREST 7, stop using the PENNCREST logo. It's not your logo. You're not endorsed by the district. This is my opinion only, but using our logo and our font is misleading. So I'm glad we had the mouthpiece for them here today. If you could stop doing that, that'd be awesome. The community committee still hasn't been formed to discuss things. I'm glad that we had finally the policy committee met to discuss that. We could have done this 3 months ago, and we've just been dragging our feet on that one. I appreciate that. Two things, brought up about academic performance. Starting in 2014, a couple things happened. Standards changed, and our curriculum didn't. We didn't change along with it. And that's about the point in time where we had a change in board leadership, and our scores started to drop, and we started to see how cheaply can we do things versus how well can we do things. And that is why our scores have dropped. We did not want to do better, so we didn't. That's why our scores have dropped, in my opinion. As far as the budget goes, we knew the 0.5 mil was coming to pay the $10 million when we voted to take that money out. That was a discussion we had a long time ago. We had it for 3 years, we discussed that. So it's not a given, but we all as a board agreed on that we would do that. Now, not everyone lived up to their word on that, but we did say 0.5 mil to raise the $10 million to fix Cambridge. People vote for things and like to spend the money, but then don't like to pay for it. Every year, budget time, I hear, we need to cut this, we need to cut that, but no one says, well, we need to cut because it's never popular to cut anything. And no one comes up with any new answers. It's just, we should cut something. Why don't we cut something? And that is really a coward's way out of voting for what we said we would do. We've made cuts, we've made staffing cuts, we've made cuts to almost everything that we can make cuts to. There's always room for more cuts, but at some point in time, we have to decide, do we want to just be a school board or do we want to be a school district? And do we want to provide the best education or just what we can barely say is education? and get away with it. Someone had said we want to be the smartest guy in the room. That's great, but we also need to know when we're not the smartest guy in the room, and we need to be the people willing to do what's needed, not just what's popular on this board. That's been something I've always done. It's probably why I'm not very popular, is I don't mind saying this needs done and this is the right choice to make, even if it's not the most popular choice to make. Again, we just need to decide overall as a district, do we want to go back to the 70th or 80th percentile where we do things well, where we take pride in our classrooms, take pride in our sports, or do we want to see how can we just scrape by as a district and still be count ourselves as an education? When we look at things to cut, I also mentioned, our legal fees are up 30% per hour. We need our board members to focus on the classroom and not the boardroom. If we had no offense to our current solicitor, they're doing an amazing job, but our last solicitor was doing an amazing job at 30% less per hour. Board members should stop claiming mileage. That's another good way to stop taking money from taxpayers. And the board should allow our paid staff to focus on what we pay them to do and not be focused on everything other than what's happening in our classroom. Every minute we have our administrators and our principals focusing on the school board and babysitting school board members. It takes time and effort away from what they're supposed to be doing and focus on politics and whatever they saw on the internet. The board needs to remember we're PENNCREST School District and the focus should be inside the classroom and not on the boardroom. And finally, get involved. There's a lot of things going on in the district right now. There's a lot of information out there. There's a lot of candidates out there talking to the public. Talk to them to find out who aligns with you. And talk to the people that you don't think align with you, because there's a lot of misinformation out there. There's liars out there that will just say things because they think it's cool and popular. Talk to both sides and be realistic about what you expect and what your focus is. Thank you.
All right, well, not a whole lot left to say, but I have to just say this. Killer Bunny for a Robot. That is an awesome name. I heard that. That's going to stick with me for a long time. So the kids who thought of that, good job. That was just funny. And Cambridge Speaks, you guys do a fantastic job. You are on my podcast. I listen to you almost every day. And all the kids that are involved, it just goes to show we like to talk about the budget and all these bad things and things that I'm personally tired of talking about. We don't celebrate the great things that are happening in this district, and there are a ton of great things going on in this district. Debbie Miller, you always bring up, you do a good job every month, you bring up good things, and you're right. The other night at the policy meeting, and I think Mr. Berleski and DeFrancesco and Mr. Johnson will agree with me, it was nice to have a little interaction and answer some questions for us. You guys did a good job, you and Mrs. Franz and Mrs. Brown. Thank you for that. Girls wrestling, as Jeff touched on that, 2019, we were excited to vote that in. And it's done nothing but great things since we did that. So congratulations to the girls and the coaches. You guys did an amazing job, and I appreciate everything you did. The boys wrestling and the other winter sports, you also have done a tremendous job. And I know the countless hours, I know the countless sleepless nights you have. I know the fidgeting, I've been through it, I have coached also. It's a stressful job, but thank you. You guys do not get enough credit, and I appreciate everything you guys put into that. Not only are we doing awesome in sports, I know they like to point out we're a small school of 2,500 students. We do have 6 buildings to take care of. We do have 408 square miles that we cover. And whether our buses pick up 10 students or 50 students, they still cover the same mileage. I'm sorry, that's my spot. Not only are we doing awesome in sports, but we are also known for many of our AP courses. I actually talked to Mrs. Mumford the other night briefly, not even about education, but it come up. She reminded me of the AP courses that we do offer in PENNCREST. And talking to a couple other teachers from other districts, we are the only ones that offer many of these courses. We do not teach strictly to the test. We teach outside the box. Something some of you guys, if you'd come to the education meetings, you would get educated on that and learn a little more. But our teachers do a tremendous job. They go above and beyond, and they spend countless hours outside the classroom with students, and they spend a lot of their own money to make sure the students have what they need to succeed. We sometimes forget that. We offer solid education provided by great teachers and staff, so I want to personally thank everyone involved in that. Again, you guys do not get enough credit. People like to blame people, but they don't like to say good job, congratulations. I'd also like to wish the best of luck to spring sports, and let's have a safe and exciting season. Another thing that we just did tonight with the bocce ball, this is another example of PENNCREST thinking outside the box. We're giving students with special needs an excellent opportunity to experience the exciting competition of sports. This is something that's going to be compiled by regular students to help teach them and give the special needs students an excellent opportunity to just have fun. And that's something we need to celebrate. I was going to stop with that, but Mr. Custer come up and did his little campaign speech, which, nice job on that. Thank you. But, you know, I've been called a socialist, Marxist, pedophile groomer, and many other things by people that support this group, which everybody that knows me knows that none of that's true. So I just want to say, you want to stand up and talk about how outstanding people you are? Next time you post things about me, please look up the facts. None of that's true. I am very conservative, I'm very religious, and you don't want to know what I would do to pedophiles.
And specifically, what was the post?
So, hey,
But you can't answer
whoa. I didn't interrupt you guys. Don't do it to
I can
me.
speak, he did.
No interference with the board member remarks, please.
So, like I said, just an example, and I'm not going to touch on that. I'm not campaigning. I'm not doing anything. I'm just saying it's getting old, and it's just not even the primaries yet. And it's school board. We do this for free. But power is one thing, and I will say, talking to the teachers at Cambridge Springs, because that's who I'm alumni with, there's no CRT in Cambridge Springs. Those teachers do an excellent job. Our principals do an excellent job. Our staff does an excellent job. Our test scores are lower because we've cut all the support that they had back before 2014. There again, we let the budget go. We didn't raise taxes. We couldn't afford good curriculum, so we did not write good curriculum. And our school district went to hell because we didn't want to spend money to improve it. Look up the facts. You can boo me, you can do whatever you want. The facts are there. Look them up.
Just like
Thank
you
you.
said about my husband, man. Sorry. Am I left with your-
All right, I guess my turn now.
Yeah.
No comments from the audience.
Against that, right?
Talking about misinformation. And that's why I want to address today. As board president, I feel I have to set the record straight about all innuendo and misinformation that some people are communicating to the public. But in order to do that, I have to go back to a time when purposely a misinformation was posted on Facebook that upset the gay community for no reason at all. Not long ago, an individual took a picture of books at the Maplewood High School library that he thought were not appropriate. Below the pictures, he made a personal remark that, in my opinion, was not appropriate. He posted the pictures and his comments on Facebook. At the same time, Mr. Valesky, the board member, expressed that his own personal opinion about the books, which was based on his Christian belief, nothing more. And that's my belief. Within days, another individual, which I refer to as an instigator, took a screenshot of Valesky's comments and the other individual who took the pictures. The instigator blacked the pictures he blacked the picture's originator's name and combined the screenshots by placing Valesky post above that over the pictures. Because of this action, everyone assumed that Valesky was the one responsible for the pictures and attached comment. This incident upset the gay community, and Valesky was attacked unmercifully to this day. Why should be a concern to all residents of PENNCREST that the district has to face legal expenses unnecessarily through the right to know all for information that no one could give because it never happened, like discussion on homosexuality. The right to know requests are continuing, unfortunately, because the instigator is still feeding the flames of hate towards some board members by supplying confidential information to newspapers. Reporters from Erie News and the USA Today have filed our right to know request at cost to the district. On top of never ending the right to know request, and now we have a frivolous lawsuit filed against the district. What is disturbing is that today's Meadville Tribune, there's an article that I consider another misinformation, I quote. PENNCREST is currently facing suits claiming violation of Pennsylvania right to know and open meeting laws. In addition, a defamation suit filed by DeFrancesco against Brooks was dismissed last year. It is true that the district is facing legal expenses for reasons I have stated to you. The misinformation is that the report is making the public believe that defamation suit legal fees was paid by the district. That was a private lawsuit with no connection to the district finances and anything else. The misinformation deserves an errata of courage by the Meadville Tribune. Did you hear that, Mr. Crowley? Also, the latest misinformation incident happened in the borough of Cambridge Springs. Signs were posted all over the borough claiming that Cambridge schools were going to be closed, when the board never even talked about any closing. Again, another instigator feeding the flames of hate for no reason at all. Then we have the misinformation about policy 109.2. The board approved this policy not only to protect the district students from material that the law determined are illegal to supply to minors, but also to protect the faculty, administrator, and board member who will approve books not unknowingly might not be legally appropriate. This policy never mentioned any groups or individuals, but yet the misinformation is still there that the policy was an attack to the LGBT members. There never was abandoned books. The action taken by the administration was to remove all few books that were clearly pornographic, therefore not appropriate for minors. All other books are still in the libraries. There is additional misinformation, but I had to clarify what I believe are the most important in my opinion because there is a divide in our community. It's a shame too many people have fallen into this misinformation. Our community should not be divided on false premises, but should be concerned about the common goal of educating the district students. But why all this misinformation? Why upset people for no reason? Is it politics, Christianophobia, or just plain sadism? Whatever it is, the future of the next generation is at stake. Today, adults should think really hard of the consequences of misinformation on the future generations. Divisions and hate will undermine the future of our nation, once considered the beacon of hope to the world. And that's all I have to say for now. Do we have a motion for adjournment? All in favor, say aye.